Hello students, I brought you to my kitchen today to talk to you about our classroom set of DSLR cameras. In case you don't remember what that means or we haven't talked about it yet, a DSLR is a digital single lens reflex camera. This is one of our classroom cameras. They're all Fujifilm brand. Some of them are slightly different from each other, but most of the features are in the same place and the buttons look the same. So what I'm showing you today should help you get started no matter which number camera you end up with. All right, so let's talk about the lens cap first. This protects our lens. On a lot of cameras, the lens is the most expensive part, especially as you get into the fancier ones. On our Fujifilms, we can't take this lens off and change it out for different ones. It's fixed. But as you get into the more expensive cameras, like the one I'm filming this on, you can switch out lenses when you're trying to get different effects, and they can start to cost, you know, north of $2,000. Some of the fanciest are like $10,000. So they really get up there, and we want to know how to protect our lenses. So we have this cap that's going to protect our lens from dust and scratches and dog slobber, which has happened to me when my dog licked the lens while I was taking his picture. So we want to keep the lens cap on at any time that we're not shooting. With this type of lens cap, it really just is a cap. It just sets on the front of the lens. I don't have to screw it on or do anything special. And you'll notice when I take it off, there's a string to keep me from losing it. Not all of our cameras still have their lens caps. We're lucky that this one still does. Now there's a different type of lens cap I want to show you in case you end up with one of those cameras. So this is another one of our classroom DSLRs, still a Fujifilm. But on this camera, we have a different lens cap. With this one, we actually have to pinch these two pieces and then lift it off. When I turn the camera on, this lens that's kind of sunk in there, it's recessed, is gonna telescope out and stick up. And I won't be able to put the lens cap back on. To put the lens cap back on, I actually have to turn the camera off so the lens kind of goes to sleep. I'm gonna pinch those two pieces again, and then I'm gonna put it in place and let go. And if I've put it on correctly, I should be able to lift it up and the lens cap does not come off. So those are the two kinds of lens caps you're gonna see on our classroom set of cameras. Now let's talk about turning this camera on. So on the top of the camera, there's a little rocker switch that says on off. If I push it to the right and let go, notice I didn't hold it on. You see my lens telescoping out, it actually pushed off my lens cap. And on the back of the camera, I'm getting a display of what kind of picture I'm going to take if I press the shutter right now. So let's talk about if you push that rocker switch to the right and it doesn't come on, what are some things that might be happening? The number one thing is maybe you have that other kind of camera and you forgot to take the lens cap off, so you're just seeing a black screen. In which case, take your lens cap off and maybe you'll be fine. Try not to drop the camera like I just did. And the other thing that might be happening is sometimes this little button up here gets pressed and that changes our display. So if I press it, you might notice this just lit up. So all the things I was seeing on the back of the camera have switched. I don't know if we can get that to focus, probably not. But they've switched and I'll now see them in there when I look at my viewfinder. This is if you're a viewfinder lover and you always want to keep that camera up to your face. If you're not, you can press that button again and our back display is going to pop up. So the two things I would check first, if it seems like my camera is not coming on, are my lens cap and the display button there. The third thing that might be happening is my batteries might be dead. So let's talk about where those are and what to do if that's the case. So on the bottom of our camera, boy, I'm making lots of extra noises, aren't I? On the bottom of this camera, there's this little panel, and it kind of looks like Florida or maybe like a pork chop. And to open it up, I have to do two things at once. You see this little switch right here? One of the things I have to do is slide that switch down. The other thing I have to do is I have to slide that panel to the right. So I'm going down and to the right at the same time, and this is going to spring open for me. And when I open it, I'm going to see a couple things. I'm going to see batteries, and I'm going to see an SD card. So I mentioned before these cameras are a little bit vintage. They don't have those modern nickel cadmium batteries that we can put into a wall charger or even plug the camera straight into a computer or a wall to charge. Instead, we have AA's. So let's take a look at our particular AA's. If you look at ours, you might notice that they are rechargeable batteries. Some of them are Energizer, some are Amazon, they all get the job done. So if you had this camera at home and you ran out of battery charge, you could put regular AA's in the camera and it would work just fine. However, if you do that, please save our rechargeable batteries and bring them back to school, because I can recharge them and we can use them again, and it saves us money. And we don't have a lot, as you know. So if I were putting these batteries back in the camera myself, there's a little picture to guide me. As you can see, this picture says minus, okay? And it shows a flat side of the battery. So that means the flat side of the battery is going to go up, facing me. And then this one is a plus. So that side that has that little bit sticking out, that side's gonna face me. Okay. Another thing that might have happened if your camera's not turning on is that someone might just have put the batteries in incorrectly. So you could check the diagram and make sure they're correct. That might be all you need to do to fix it. While we're down here, let's talk about the SD card. So this is what stores our pictures. This is how we get them off the camera. So to get this out of the camera, I'm just gonna poke it. And it's gonna pop up all on its own. I'm gonna pull it out, and you can see I have 8 gigs here. Some of our cameras have 16 gig memory cards. 8's pretty good, but you guys with your iPhones might find that you fill it up very quickly. You can always buy a bigger SD card if you want for your own use. I would just make sure that you write your name on it and that you take it out of the camera when you're done at the end of each day. If I was putting this back in the camera, there's a little diagram again that shows me, oh, it's real hard to see this one because it's so teeny, but it shows this notch at the edge of my SD card. And it shows me that that is supposed to be down and to the left. So if I drop it into the slot, it should go in there really easy. I shouldn't have to force it or push. Okay, I should be able to push it just once lightly and it should stay down. If I'm pushing it and it is not going, I don't want to force it. I probably have it in backward. I'm going to take it out and try it again. If I know I don't have it in backward and I still have to force it, I'm going to stop and I'm going to say, Miss Eden, something's wrong. Can you check it out? We don't want to force it because we don't want to break the SD card and we don't want to break the camera. We'll just take our time and solve the problem. So if I wanted to close this, I got to push it down all the way across. I like to use my whole thumb to do that and then push it in. And this one doesn't like to close all the way anymore. It's not a huge problem. I think the batteries are still staying in, but something to be aware of. So let's take a look at the top of our camera, which is where our fun stuff is. So this little wheel right here lets me choose what mode my camera is in. And since this is just a basics video, I'm just going to show you 2 modes that we're going to be using in the first few weeks, and then we'll move into some of the more advanced ones. This little red camera right here, this means automatic mode. This is where the camera is going to make all the decisions for me and I just have to press the shutter. And I know I have that set because it is next to my little dash there. If I wanted to change to manual mode, which lets me have all the control, I'm going to switch it to that M. And those are the only 2 we're going to worry about for now, automatic and manual. Up here, this round button, this is my shutter. If I'm ready to take a picture, I press that down, it takes the picture. If I want to get zoomed in or zoomed out, this circle around my shutter is my rocker switch. It's going to let me zoom in and zoom out. So that's enough for us for now. We know the shutter to take the picture. We can zoom in and zoom out. We can set the camera to automatic, where it'll make all the decisions for us. We can set it to manual, where we get to make the decisions. We know where to look for information about our pictures. We know how to change our batteries and how to get the card out to get our pictures off. And we know to keep our lens cap on the front of our camera so that lens stays nice and clean and shiny and beautiful for our beautiful pictures. This video will be available for you on my website. All you got to do is go to our district website, look for me, click through to my teacher page, and then click on this video if you forget any of the things in here or we get a new student and you want to help them out. And let's get to class and making some pictures.